How's it going, everyone? This is Commissioner Smash and Commissioner Tnow, bringing you something a bit different today. We're going to be talking about some new things going on in the gaming industry. Tnow, tell us what happened.
Yeah, big news coming out today. The Mixer service, the streaming service, is going away fully effective July 22nd, essentially effective immediately. They are merging with Facebook Gaming or partnering with Facebook Gaming, I guess, and are asking all their creators and streamers to move onto that platform. So, big news kind of coming out of nowhere. I know that nobody knew this was coming. I mean, the employees didn't know it was coming, the streamers didn't know it was coming, the audience didn't know it was coming. So it's a pretty big shock. And like Commissioner Smash said, we want to take some time and chat about our thoughts on it. And maybe we can get your thoughts in the comments section as well. Hear what you think about this big news dropping today.
Yeah, definitely let us know. Uh, so these partners are all going to Facebook Gaming, and Tnow, I'm curious how many of them will actually do that. I think one thing that's going through my head is you sort of have this cost benefit analysis, right? Like you could go to Facebook
Mm-hmm.
Gaming, and that's all well and good, and you could become a partner, and apparently they just tweeted that you're getting 2,500 bucks if you're on the platform within the first 90 days or something like that. So there's some sort of immediate financial benefit to doing so. Or you could go to Twitch, like I think there's if you're a small partner or even a small creator that's not a partner, you sort of have to ask the question like, is this my chance to go to Twitch, which is the largest streaming platform, or do
Mm-hmm.
I wing it on Facebook Gaming, which I kind of already did with Mixer, and then Mixer shut down. Like, who's to say that Facebook Gaming a year, 2, 3 years from now doesn't do the same thing? I mean, Twitch is here to stay. Twitch isn't going anywhere. Um, I say that, but also sort of caveating what I'm saying with a caveat of Facebook Gaming announced that they have over 700 million users on the platform. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
700 million users. You kind of have to wonder how much of that is actually sort of active users though, because 700 million users is a significant chunk of Facebook's overall user base. I think there's like 3 billion people on the Facebook platform. I'll have to fact check myself in a second, but you're telling me that many people are Facebook gaming users. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 700 million is no joke. That's a pretty big number. I guess we can try to look at things from both perspectives here, right? Like you made some good comments on why it's a good time to move to Twitch and maybe some of the dangers of taking a risk with another platform like you did with Mixer, because obviously Twitch isn't going anywhere. It's the biggest fish in the market. But let's kind of look at the other side here and think about the opportunity with maybe trying to move to a Facebook gaming or YouTube gaming, or maybe even something else. I'm sure there's plenty of other companies in the industry who are looking at this as a potential chance to snatch up some quality streamers and quality content creators to build their platform. But we're just going to look at the two most obvious choices here, being Facebook gaming and YouTube gaming. So with Facebook gaming, just as we were getting ready to film this video, like Commissioner Smash said, they're now offering Mixer partners $2,500. They need to stream on the platform for 90 days, and there's certain other requirements that they have to meet as well. So there's a nice financial argument to be made for Facebook Gaming right there if you're a Mixer partner, as you can immediately get $2,500 to kind of buffer some of the pain of having to move to a new platform. Um, on the flip side, for YouTube gaming, they've been doing really well. I've heard a lot of positive things about them. There's some pretty big names on that platform. It's another one that if you kind of liked that smaller community feel, I feel like YouTube and Facebook both provide that. But YouTube almost, I don't know, Smash. Maybe give me your take on this. To me, YouTube almost feels more stable of the two between Facebook gaming and YouTube gaming, because Facebook in its core is a social media platform, right? They added on the gaming aspect because why not? They can, right? But YouTube, I mean, they're all about videos, they're all about content. It almost fits in a little bit better with a content creator community to get into something that's already very focused around that aspect of the community.
I think that's a I think that's a good assumption to make, is that people will want to tie the YouTube videos they're creating or could create, because a lot of them are probably not creating stuff right now on YouTube. They could tie that in with their
Mm-hmm.
streams, right? I mean, I think of some of the content creators we work with, right? Like Sunless Khan. He streams and he makes YouTube. He makes tons of content on YouTube, and YouTube is may very well be actually the lifeblood of what he's doing. I mean, that's where he started. He didn't start streaming till
Mm-hmm.
less than a year ago, I think. Um, and streaming definitely augmented his brand. But if you look at where he started on YouTube. And if YouTube
Yep.
had anywhere close to the number of live streamers or the number or the support that Twitch does, maybe it would have made more sense for him to go there to sort of tie it together, the videos that he's creating, the content that he's pushing, and the fact that he can stream live and make revenue and increase his brand that way. It's an interesting proposition, right? Like if you're coming from Mixer and you also make YouTube videos and you're trying to grow that audience, having those things integrated may actually be extremely beneficial for both your live viewing
Mm-hmm.
audience as well as the views you're trying to get on the videos and the content you're creating through YouTube. That's a Yeah, that could be interesting. Facebook doesn't have that. I mean, they are the world's largest social network, and just to fact check myself, there are about 2.6 billion Facebook users as of I think February 2020. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
very large chunk, which seemingly, you know, I mean, seemingly you could convince those people to watch Facebook gaming or watch the content that's being put on Facebook. So you could make the argument that they're going to have way more viewers down the road than Twitch could even imagine. But that may be harder said than done. But that's something to
And
consider too.
let's actually talk about that. I want to talk about that for a quick second. You talk about the 2.6 billion users on Facebook. For those of you that are wondering why Mixer actually chose to partner with Facebook, I have to imagine this is a big part of it. Because part of Mixer's partnership with Facebook is focused around something called their xCloud game streaming service. Essentially, what this is going to be is you're going to be able to like click a button and start playing the games that the streamer you're watching is playing. It's cloud-based gaming, similar to what Google Stadia was going to be, or you know, similar to what Google Stadia is. And Mixer was, you know, they in the articles I've been reading, they kind of their goal was to be able to get this service, this xCloud gaming streaming service, to 2 billion people. Well, what do you know? Facebook just happens to have 2 billion people sitting around. So that's, you know, if you're kind of wondering about the logic behind this partnership, that's a lot of it is where it stemmed from, is the user base and the potential growth, like Commissioner Smash said, to being able to market both Facebook gaming as well as the upcoming xCloud streaming service to the entirety of the Facebook social network.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Tina. I mean, if you are looking for future growth, Facebook, at least from a bird's eye view, you see essentially almost half the world, right, on this platform.
Yeah.
Uh, and then on if you look at Twitch and why they chose Facebook over Twitch, it does seem pretty obvious to make what the right choice is, right? Like Twitch doesn't have as immediate of access to all of those people, right? Twitch has to
Right.
essentially they have Amazon, right? They have all the Amazon Prime users, they have all the Amazon users. I know that they have Twitch Prime and they've integrated those really well and they've probably captured some audience there, but nothing's going to beat Facebook, right? Like you just have
Right.
so much power in terms of the user base. 2.6 billion users. I mean, you could capture like 10% of that, and that's an insane amount of people, right? I mean, it's just insane how big they are, and that's probably Microsoft's point of view, right? Is as you said,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to compete now with Google Stadia. Google's trying to get into the gaming industry. Stadia's come out to mixed reviews. Won't get into that. Microsoft has their xCloud service. trying to do something very similar. This is a massive leg up for Microsoft in that battle, and it seems to make sense why they chose Facebook Gaming. So I wanted to talk about something. I wanted to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about Ninja and Shroud.
Yep.
More importantly, we kind of talked about sort of the non-Ninja users, right? We talked the non-Ninja partners. What I mean by that are
Yeah.
the partners who aren't getting sponsorships with Adidas, but they still have an active, engaged audience. So we're not talking about them anymore. They can either go to Facebook Gaming or they can go to Twitch or YouTube Gaming. They have a decision to make. And
Hmm.
going to Facebook Gaming might appeal to them because $2,500, but also they get immediate partner status. With Ninja and Shroud, they can do whatever they want, and they're gonna get whatever they want, right? Like they can go to YouTube Gaming, YouTube's gonna make them a partner. Like this whole deal with Facebook Gaming doesn't necessarily matter to them outside of the fact that you know maybe Facebook has a larger audience, but maybe they care about that, maybe they don't. I mean, if I were them, I probably wouldn't, considering I can just go to Twitch or YouTube and likely demand a pretty high, pretty sizable payout to stream on their platform. So I want
So they Facebook did go to Ninja and Shroud, at least from what I was reading, and offered to basically increase their contracts that they had signed with Mixer and get them on Facebook Gaming, and supposedly both of them declined it, and then Mixer had to pay out the rest of had to pay out a portion of the contract. I don't know exactly. Again, just what I've read and what I've seen. Ninja got he got $30 million, no big deal. Shroud 10 million, and now they're both walking away eligible to talk with any other streaming platform they want, who's probably going to throw millions of dollars at them to get them to come there. So
that's that actually kind of proves the point a little bit, right? Like those guys know that they can go anywhere they want. Like they can go to YouTube, they
yep.
can go to Twitch. I mean, Twitch supposedly made this big to do about Ninja leaving. They instantly removed his partner status, all that stuff. I mean, they never came out with a statement, but I mean, if Ninja, who was the largest streamer of all time, the first one to really kind of like make it big. I might be wrong in saying that, but at least from my knowledge, he was one of the first, if not the first. Um, I mean, you don't think he can walk back into Twitch and say like, "Yeah, I want to come back here," and they're gonna cut him
Mm-hmm.
a deal? I mean, like, that's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah. So let's talk about what our predictions are, maybe for where we think Ninja and Shroud are going to go. I'll just jump on it first since I brought it up. I feel like Shroud's going to Twitch. I think that's a no brainer. That's where he was thriving earlier. They're going to want to get him back, and they're going to look to beat YouTube in that bidding war. So my vote is Shroud for Twitch. I think Ninja's a much more interesting situation because there was a lot of bad blood between Ninja and Twitch when they left. Kind of some inappropriate stuff done by Twitch with Ninja's channel. Not really the kindest to him with him leaving. So I think there's an argument to be made that Ninja is kind of a true free agent, right? It's like in my eyes, Shroud, Twitch, it's a lock, unless YouTube Gaming comes in with some crazy deal. But I feel like I could see Ninja going to YouTube. I think that with the bad blood in the past with Twitch, and him seeing this as a good opportunity to leverage his marketability and his brand and who he is, he's going to be able to get a great payout from YouTube and just keep it rolling there. And I don't really see him wanting to go back to Twitch to help them out by any means by bringing his brand and his viewership back to that platform.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the guy, right? Like I don't know what he's thinking, but if I just try to put myself in his shoes, it's like it becomes a question of how much engagement can I get, and
Mm-hmm.
how much sort of money can I get, right? Like I think based off interviews I've watched with him and other people's sort of opinions on this topic and why he left Twitch in the first place, he definitely cares about the viewers and he definitely cares about playing the game. That's really important to him. But you also like if you care just about viewers and you care just about engagement, you're staying on Twitch. I mean, it's just way bigger. And he had way more viewership on Twitch, way more subscribers on Twitch than he did on Mixer. Um, but if you so that tells me he also cares about something else, and my only guess is that Mixer came in, which obviously there was some information put out that he was paid $30 million. Mixer came in, offered him an exorbitant amount of money to switch. So in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
if you're Ninja and you're like, okay, I have an opportunity to now go get another $30 million or whatever from another
Yeah.
platform, you're kind of like, well, maybe I can just go back to Twitch. I was getting way more engagement there. Maybe there's some bad blood. I don't know. Seems pretty easy to overlook that when if they come forward with a reasonable package, as much as even if it's not as much as what Mixer was paying. You get all of your
Mm-hmm.
subscribers back. You get all of your viewers back. You can go back to TwitchCon every year and have that experience. Like there's a major upside to using Twitch. And YouTube gaming, I really have enjoyed YouTube gaming. I've watched quite a bit of it. Um, I have enjoyed a lot of the content creators on YouTube gaming. I think that is an interesting platform, and I'm excited to see how that grows. But Twitch is still the leader, at least for now. And I think that's where Ninja is going to end up. I totally agree. Shroud's going back to Twitch. Makes perfect sense. They each walked away with a really great payout, which is awesome for them. Ninja, totally agree. Chance he could go to YouTube gaming. There's not another streaming platform out there he would go to other than YouTube gaming and Twitch. Maybe he goes back to Facebook if they offer him more. I kind of doubt it. I don't know why, but it seems like they're not interested in Facebook, especially since it sounds like they declined. But that seems like it came from a tweet, and I don't know if that's a credible source. Um, but it's interesting, right? Like Ninja and Shroud, where are they gonna go?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would say this is a credible source here. It comes from, so I found the tweet. It comes from Slasher, who's basically the esports breaking news official here. Through his sources, I'll just read it, and we'll get it on the screen for the video. But through sources, Facebook offered an insane offer at almost double for the original Mixer contracts of Ninja and Shroud, but Ninja and Shroud said no and forced Mixer to buy them out. Ninja made about 30 million for Mixer, and Shroud made about 10 million. Ninja and Shroud are now free agents. They are the ultimate winners. I mean, they slice it however you want. These guys are living the dream. I mean, they got
Yeah,
paid an exorbitant amount of money to come to Mixer. They're getting paid an exorbitant amount of money to leave Mixer, and they're about to get paid an exorbitant amount of money to stream somewhere else. It's unbelievable the power that these guys have, and they worked hard to get there. It's pretty awesome to see, in my opinion.
it definitely is pretty cool. And that's really interesting because those contracts with Mixer were probably paid out on an annual basis, right? Or quarterly or something along those lines. Like, uh, which tells me that there's like buyout clauses and all that stuff, which is really really interesting. So they probably sort of did the cost benefit analysis and said like, well, we can go to Facebook Gaming, you know, maybe we get $1 million a year or whatever
Mm-hmm.
until we get to the end's life on the contract, or we can just take all the money up front. I mean, if you go to Facebook
Yeah,
Gaming and you try to take double the payout, you're not getting all that up front, right? Like you're getting that year over year or quarter over quarter or whatever it is, or you could take it up front. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to
yeah,
just leave on the
yeah,
table for future years. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe something happens, you stop streaming. I'm sure that there's clauses in the contract that dictate you stop getting paid out, right? Or there's a million things that could go on, but those guys are clearly smart and they've got smart managers. I'm sure they were just like, you know what? Let's just take it and run. Because the other thing too is Ninja goes to Twitch, Shroud goes to Twitch. They don't need if let's say they just don't even get a contract, right? They just sign
sure.
up for the platform like any average Joe. Uh, the
Yeah,
number of subscribers they get, I mean, they're gonna be making close to. I don't. I think at one point at his prime, like Ninja was making half a million a month or something like that. Like, what do you need a contract for at that point? You could take the payout.
right.
You could take the payout and then just do whatever you want. You could never sign a contract. You want to switch to YouTube
Yeah,
gaming at some point in the future after Twitch, after 6 months on Twitch, you don't like it, you can.
And I think there's a couple interesting things going on here, right? Like, number one, they turned down contracts that were allegedly double what the original Mixer contract is. So to me, that makes me think it goes to your point about the platform and the engagement and the audience is actually going to be really important to both of them, and it's going to be really important to them, because previously they took that big contract, right? They went to Mixer. They were like, sure, we'll take a hit to our viewership because we want this big contract. But now they're doing the opposite here with Facebook Gaming and offering that. So it almost makes me think that they both kind of reflected and were like, yes, we got a ton of money, but in our opinion, it didn't work out, or it wasn't worth it. We kind of lost a little bit of our brand because we were on this smaller platform, because we were unable to do certain things and reach a wider audience. And the payouts kind of helps offset that. But if you're thinking long term, did it set them behind other big name streamers who were already grinding away on Twitch and are kind of at their level, right? I mean, Dr. Disrespect is probably one of the biggest streamers, if not the biggest right now. And he's been doing it all through Twitch, and he's really made a big name for himself on there and is signed with them, of course. So I think it'll be really interesting to see, number one, how important these contracts are to these guys now that they've already kind of been through that process. But number two, I think it still kind of remains to be seen if Twitch is even going to want to come to the table with a contract, because Twitch initially let these guys go because they weren't willing to pay what Mixer was willing to pay. So is Twitch going to even try to compete with a YouTube or Facebook Gaming if for some reason Facebook comes back into it? But is Twitch even going to try to compete with them, or are they just going to take a stance and say, hey, we've already done this before. Did you guys learn your lesson? Like, get on Twitch or go take your contract with YouTube. I think that'll be a really interesting conversation, because Twitch already wasn't willing to fight for them the first time. Granted, the esports landscape has shifted. Those contracts, that was kind of a new thing when Mixer and Shroud did that, and now it's a little bit more commonplace. I mean, like I said, we've seen some with Twitch, we've seen some with YouTube, with Facebook, but I kind of wonder what'll be going on in those conversations.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's so fascinating to think that, like, let's just take a step back. All right, so
sure.
Pre-Mixer, Ninja, and Shroud. Let's look up when did Ninja join Mixer? When was that? August 1st, 2019. August 1st, 2019 is when Ninja joins, or at least it was announced around that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
How many months is that? I can't do math right now. Having a little bit of wine while we're talking, but how many months is that?
From August 2019 till now would have been roughly, I guess, 10 months, since July is just around the corner. But yeah, beginning of August to beginning of July would be 10 months, I think.
All right. So Shroud joins Mixer in October. So that's, I don't know, what, 6 months plus 7? Actually, it's 8 months, something like that. 8 months.
Yep.
So Mixer goes and pays out an exorbitant amount for these guys, for these content creators. At some point, like, they didn't just make the decision to merge with Facebook overnight, right?
Yep.
That takes months of communication. So at some point between the last, call it 8 months, they started having conversations like, this isn't working. Like, they didn't even give it a year. They gave it like less than probably 4 or 5 months, and then they were like, Mixer's not working, we're going to Facebook. Like, it's just like, you didn't even like, how much effort did you really put into it?
That's kind of funny when you put it that way, because I mean, if they came over in August and October 2019, it's less than a year. You had to imagine these conversations with Facebook probably started in January, maybe February at the latest of this year of 2020. So basically, like 4-5 months into your engagement with these guys, you're already just like, I know we just dropped $30 million, but screw it. Let's see what else we can do because this isn't working. I mean, I don't know if they just I don't know if it was just grossly mismanaged or if they just were expecting an instant return on what they put in. And when they didn't see that, they were quick to cut the cord and move on. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on there because two gigantic companies like Microsoft and Facebook don't just go out for a cup of coffee and then 24 hours later decide, oh, yeah, we're in a partnership now. I mean, there's just months of legal work and agreements and negotiations and figuring out how everything works together with these multi-billion-dollar companies. Um, it had to have started. The conversations had to have started in January or February.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think, but I don't know. I mean, I don't work for those companies, but it is pretty interesting to think about the fact that like they shelled out so much money for this experiment, right? Because the ultimate goal is to get more streamers to join Mixer, right? More people over to
Yep.
Mixer, and a lot of people did join Mixer because of that, and it brought a lot of attention and it brought a lot of hype to the Mixer community. Um, but apparently it wasn't enough, right? I mean, that's kind of what all these articles are saying. Is that is the big reason that Mixer didn't continue is because they didn't get enough from those creators, which is pretty insane to think about that their reach wasn't enough. But when you think about the reach of Twitch as a whole, it does tend to dwarf Shroud and Ninja's and together, right? Like Twitch has so many people watching, so many hours viewed. It's pretty insane to think about how much it is compared to Ninja and Shroud. Like those are just two creators. They're big ones, very large, two of the largest. Um, but ultimately, like Twitch has all of these other content creators are producing so much, and now Twitch even started coming to the table, paying people like Dr. Disrespect, likely Pokimane 2, all of these people to stay with their platform. So that kind of brings me back to this point that you brought up earlier about will Twitch want to come to the table with Ninja?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just think about this. So this was October 27th, August 7th, 2019. Hits 1 million subscribers on Mixer. So I can't remember. I really need to know what he had on Twitch. So this isn't going to be a valid argument really, but 1 million active subscribers on Mixer. On Twitch, a subscription, it's $5 a month. The streamer gets half of that. However, they can kind of negotiate their own deals. So if he has 1 million subscribers on Twitch, all of them are tier 1, maybe. That's probably lowball. That's definitely lowballing it. And he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't and he gets 50% of that. Twitch gets the other 50%. That's 250 times 1 million. So that's that's $2.5 million, right? For Twitch.
Yep.
If he hasn't negotiated any. Let's assume that he negotiates something, right? I don't know, what's probably reasonable, but maybe he gets 70% of that. That means Twitch is only getting 30% of that $5. So
Yep.
his total value to them is like 5 times 0.3 times 1. So they're still making $1.5 million. So $1.5 million every year, if they're going to come and pay.
Well, that would be $1.5 million every month.
That's correct. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yep.
That's why
Yeah.
Commissioner Tnow is here. 1.5
Yeah.
million. That would be 1.5 million dollars every single month for Twitch in Twitch's pocket, and that's assuming that Ninja's getting 70%. I'm just making numbers up just for argument's sake. 70% of his subscription, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
$1.5 million a month in Twitch's pocket. So in order to, from just like a profit perspective, for Twitch to still make out handily, if they were going to pay him an additional amount to stay on Twitch, it would have to be significantly less than $1.5 million a month, right? So like
Yep.
maybe that's $500,000 a month, maybe that's $1 million a month. I don't know. It depends on what Twitch really cares about. But that's sort of the numbers you have to be looking at when you're thinking like, okay, is Twitch going to is Twitch going to go after Ninja, right? Do they care
Yeah.
about this $1.5 million a month? How much do they care about it? Do they care $500,000 a month? Do they care $1 million
Yeah.
a month? Like, what's the number? But it's somewhere between 0 and $1.5 million. That's my rough guess.
Yeah. And as crazy as this sounds, I mean, I feel like that's all. I mean, that's low, right? Compared to like compared to the numbers that were being talked about with Mixer and Facebook, that package would be low. I mean, assuming, again, we're just kind of spitballing here, but um, this is where the conversations get interesting between Twitch and Ninja. Is like Ninja's like, well, Mixer paid me this much and Facebook offered me this much. Where are you coming from? And then Twitch is like, yeah, well, here's what we think we can make, and here's what we're going to offer you. And I have to imagine it would be lower than what other services are willing to offer him, just purely based on the fact of Twitch's their reach. I mean, they already have so many big streamers on their platform. It's a little different when you're a smaller platform and you're trying to steal some of those big names. So I don't know. I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. This story is going to be constantly evolving here. One thing we haven't really talked about is the audience. Because while Mixer wasn't an enormous platform, comparatively speaking, for streaming services, there's still a good chunk of users on there. And did those users already have Twitch accounts? Are they on YouTube Gaming? Are they on Facebook Gaming? Do they have all of them? I know for me personally, I have a Twitch account and I had a Mixer account just to kind of see what all the fuss was about initially. But that's it. I could get on YouTube Gaming at any time. I could get on Facebook Gaming at any time. But Twitch is pretty much where I lived. So thinking about, it's kind of interesting to think about what these people are going to do where that's where they were based and everything that they did. Their content was being consumed through Mixer. Now they kind of need to find a new place to call home.
Yeah, I mean you're exactly right. I mean, I looked up like the number of monthly active users, at least that Mixer reported, and they claimed that they had 10 million monthly active users. 10 million. 10 million people signing into the platform every single month. That's no small number. I tried to look up Twitch and Facebook,
No.
wasn't immediately reported. If someone knows what it is, feel free to comment it. But 10 million. I mean, that's like for any platform, that's a lot of people just to let go. And they
Yeah.
did it, right? I mean, who, I don't know, if we had 10 million IGL users, right? Like, I'm not just gonna let them go, I'm not just gonna say,
Right.
yeah, like we're getting rid of it. Here you go, whatever competing service, like go ahead and take them off our hands. Like you're just not gonna do that, It's like there are
Yeah.
numbers way less than that you're not gonna let go of, and Microsoft did it. So clearly, it didn't align with their long-term goals. But it is a question, like where are they gonna go? My bet. Let's I think we're coming up to the end of the video here. Um, let's make a couple predictions. So we're gonna make a prediction about Ninja and Shroud, which we kind of already did, but we're gonna reiterate it for each of us. And then we're kind of gonna make a prediction about where these users will go and where they're gonna end up. And we may not actually get the
Mhm.
answer to that question, but I think it'll be interesting. So let's start, since we're talking about the users. Tina, where do you think those users are going to go? Is it Twitch? Is it Facebook Gaming? Is it YouTube Gaming? Or is it D Live or something else?
I think it's going to be Twitch. I think Twitch is pretty much going to be able to completely pick up where Mixer left off. I think if you have some really loyal, diehard fans of Ninja and Shroud, that could change if they go to a different platform and they follow them. But outside of that group, I pretty much see most of the users going to Twitch, which is honestly where I see a lot of the content creators and streamers going. So, you have all these smaller creators having their communities follow them. And I think the logical path is to Twitch.
I think I agree with you on that one. I think people will watch Facebook Gaming. Obviously, you don't have to technically select one. I think most of their eyeballs are gonna go towards Twitch, though. I think people are gonna watch Facebook
Mm.
Gaming if the content creators that they were watching do go to Facebook Gaming. I think that's another question. I am not convinced that they will. I think they're going to be pulled in the direction of YouTube, pulled in the direction of Twitch. I think Facebook is going to have to do a lot to get them. But I think ultimately Twitch is going to win out in that battle. Let's move on to Ninja and Shroud. We'll start with Shroud first. You said Shroud was going to Twitch earlier. Has that changed?
It hasn't. Nope. I don't see any better option for him unless YouTube Gaming comes to him with just some massive contract. But like we talked about, I don't think the contract is the most important thing to these guys anymore. And Shroud, he did awesome on Twitch. It's a perfect marriage right there. You can come back into it, pick up right where he left off, and I think people would be really excited to have him return.
I think I agree with that. Shroud makes perfect sense. So Ninja, we've kind of disagreed, I think. What do you think?
I think he's going to go to YouTube Gaming. I think the money that Twitch could potentially offer would solve a lot of things, but I think there was just too much bad blood when that relationship ended for Ninja to want to go back and support Twitch anymore. I see him going to YouTube. It seems to have some pretty big name creators on there. It seems to be doing well. Ninja really cares about engaging his community. I don't think he's going to be necessarily all about the contract because he turned down Facebook's opportunity there, at least allegedly. But I think that YouTube will come to him with a nice contract, but also be able to provide the stability of a really solid platform, well-known content creation platform. And I think that's where Ninja's going to restart his streaming career.
All right, I'm going to disagree with you on that one with a caveat. I think Ninja's going to go to Twitch, but I don't think he's going to sign a contract. I think you're right about the fact that they only care about engagement at this point. I mean, if they only cared about the money, they probably would have taken Facebook's deal. I mean, if they really were doubling contracts, like $60 million is no small feat. $20 million for Shroud. So here's my logic. Ninja goes to Twitch, doesn't sign a contract. He can he's still got the money figured out, right? Because he's making a ton of money off his subs. They're all going to come back. They followed him in the Mixer. They're going to follow him back, and all those people who are watching him on Twitch are going to go right back to him. Twitch will welcome him back because of the pull that he has, and if he approaches them and says, "I don't want a contract," that might appeal to them. Here's the reason that I don't think he's going to sign a contract, and this is pretty far out there, but I don't think it's that far out there. He's not going to sign a contract, one, because he's already got the money he needs, but two, more importantly, he can go to any platform he wants if he doesn't have a contract. If he doesn't have a contract, he can do whatever he wants. He can leave. He can come back. He can go to YouTube Gaming later on in the future if they do have a contract that's appealing to him, or if that platform grows. He can go to Facebook Gaming in the future if he wants to. There's just way more flexibility, and when you're Ninja at this point in time, you have that flexibility. Financial security is not a problem, clearly. He has the following and the influence to go wherever he wants. He's going to go to Twitch. He's going to stay there. And at some point in the future, he may leave. But he's not going to sign a contract because he wants the freedom. He wants the flexibility. And ultimately, he cares about the engagement at this point. One idea that we didn't talk about, maybe we'll have to talk about in a future video, is completely out of left field. But Ninja starts his own streaming service and pulls over his all of the best content creators and does that instead of going to a streaming service for himself. But anyways, won't get into that.
That's an interesting concept. Maybe we get into that for a future video. It's like a hypothetical video there. Thanks everybody for watching. We want to hear what you had to say, of course, so make sure to get the conversation going with us in the comments section. Also on our social media at Indy Gaming 317. Give the video a like. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to be making an effort to get videos out weekly at the least. So you'll be wanting to hit that subscribe button, have those notifications enabled so you can see more awesome content like this. Commissioner Tnow, Commissioner Smash, with a solid conversation here today with some really interesting topics. Can't wait to be chatting with you guys again next time.